Hello and welcome to the show. In today's lesson we're going to be looking at dividing by decimal numbers. Now it's the exact same procedure as long division. Exactly the same with just one little thing that you've got to remember. Okay, just one tiny little thing you've got to remember. If you can do long division, you can also divide by decimals without any problem whatsoever. We're going to be showing you two examples in this show because obviously doing a long division takes a bit of time and we don't want this show running on forever and ever and ever. So let's start off. We are dividing by decimals, okay? And that is what we are faced with, okay? 70.57 divided by 2.3. 70.57 being the dividend, 2.3 being the divisor. It's as simple as this, folks. All you got to remember is you cannot, repeat, cannot divide by a decimal. Okay, not manually. You can't. You can in a calculator. So you've got to get rid of that decimal point and show this as a whole number. You've got to show your divisor as a whole number, okay, when you are dividing by decimals. So to make that a whole number, what do we have to do? Do we move the point one place to the left? No, we can't do that because that would make it 0.23. We want to make it a whole number, so we're moving it one place to the right. Okay, we've moved it one place to the right, which makes 2.3 23. Now, remember, if you're moving a decimal place from the divisor, you've also got to move a decimal place from the dividend. So, the point moves from between 70.57 to this area here, between 5 and 7, but we don't put the decimal point in here, okay? We basically just put it up here and forget all about it for the time being, okay? Forget all about it for the time being and look at this sum as 7,057 being divided by 23, okay? So 23 into 70. How many times does it go? It goes in 3 times. 3 times 23 is 69, exactly the same as a normal long division. And we take that away. Okay? Then we drop the next number, which is the 5. Now, you've always got to remember, when you've dropped another number down, you've then got to ask yourself how many times does 23 go into the number you've now created. And as you see, it doesn't go in any times at all. It's very easy to skip this point here and then move on to the next number and forget to put in that all-important 0. But you've got to show the 0. How many times does 23 go into 15? It doesn't go in at all. It goes in 0 times, so you've got to show that. Okay? When you've dropped another number down and your divisor doesn't go into it, you've got to show that, which we have done there, 0. So the next step is moving over to the 7. Right? So we've moved over to the 7 there, and we're asking ourselves how many times does 23 go into 157? 23 goes into 157 6 times. Alright? 6 times 23 is 138. Right? Take 138 away from 157, and that leaves us with 19. Now we could leave it there, but no, we will, just like I showed you in the other long division problems, we're going to add a couple of trailing zeros, and you can add them on forever and ever and ever if you want to, alright? But we're just going to add 2. Now, bring down a 0, and remember, when you've brought down a 0, you've got to show that answer there, alright? Once you've worked it out. You've got to ask yourself now, how many times does 23 go into 190? How many times does 23 go into 190? It goes in 8 times. Excuse my writing there. And of course that is 184. 190, take away 184 will leave you with 6. Right, and final 0 I'm going to bring down. Then it's a case of asking yourselves, how many times does 23 go into 60? Obviously that's only going to go in twice. So we've now got 3 numbers after the decimal point. It goes in twice, so 2 times 23 is 46. Take that away. That is going to leave you with 14. And again, just ran out of space here, but we could have added in more trailing zeros. And the next one obviously would be 23 into 140, and so on and so forth. But we'll leave that sum at that point there because it's showing 3 numbers after the decimal point. It's showing you your tenths, your hundredths, and your thousandths. Okay, try saying that without your teeth in my tongue. Right, so looks a little bit untidy there, but better to look untidy and get the right answer than look immaculately neat and get the incorrect answer. Right, so 2.3 was our divisor. 70.57 was our dividend, and our answer is 30.682. And we'll now move on to another example for you. Right, okay. Slightly different example this time here. I always like to put in zeros because I always think that they help complicate things, which is good. Right. 0.3 into 10.17. Same procedure as before, exactly the same. We've got to make that a whole number. So your decimal point is getting moved one place. If we move that, we've also got to move the decimal point in the dividend, and we don't show it there, which will just totally confuse us, but that is where it'll be going, okay, in between where the 1 and 9 is there, but above it. And so we're now asking ourselves, how many times does 3 go into 10? It goes in 3 times, okay, you can put 3 above 0 there. Alright, 3 times 3 is 9. Take that away is 1. Okay, we've got another number to bring down obviously, which is 1. How many times does 3 go into 11? 3 goes into 11 3 times. It's almost 4, but not quite. 3 times 3 is 9. Take that away, and it leaves you with 2. Bring down the next number, which is the 9. How many times does 3 go into 9? 3 goes into 9. 3 times 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 9 is 27, so it must be 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Again, same procedure as long division, exactly the same, leaves us with 2. Last number we're bringing down is the 7. How many times does 3 go into 27? It goes in exactly 9 times. Exactly 9 times. What is 9 times 3? 27. That leaves us with a 0 remainder. So our work there is done. No need to add any trailing zeros to that one there. That is your answer. We've done it. We've got there. Make it look a little bit neater. 0.3 into 10.197 is 33.99. Now I'll just hold this up for you here so you can go through the workings at your leisure. And I hope you understand the principle to it all. That was dividing by decimal, and I'll see you all in the next show. Bye bye! Now for the bloopers. They're quite funny, I should tell you. And we'll do this without doing the workings out to make it look a little bit neater, because it's looking a bit scribbly here. And we can easily say that comfortably say that is in fact 19. Alright? And we'll leave it there. Of course, we don't have to leave it there. If you're wanting to show more numbers behind the decimal point, just like I showed you before, it's a case of adding trailing zeros. In fact, let's just add one more trailing zero, okay? So we can get 2 figures behind the decimal point. Right, now that we've brought another number down, we can once again say how many times does the divisor go into this number here, which is 190. Well, that's going to go in 7 times, isn't it? 7 times 2 is 140, 7 times 3 is 21, that's 161, so that is 7. 7 times 23, yeah, actually 7 times 20 is 140, it's 161, isn't it? No. Well, that can't be right, can it? Alright, let's try 8. Let's try 8 times 23. 8 times 2 is 100. 8 times 20 is 160. 8 times 3 is 24. 184, yes. You see, it is easy to make that mistake there. It's actually 8. So it's 184. 8 times 20 is 160, 8 times 3 is 24, add them together, 184, and that's going to leave us there with 6. A very, very good evening, good morning, or good afternoon to you out there in YouTube land, tuning into this show to learn more about mathematics. Now, we do have another few more shows for you here before we move on to our next segment, which is going to be going back to comedy, and eventually you'll see my home movies and all that kind of stuff. But we're concentrating on maths for the time being, and you'll be glad that we are, because we've got a very important show for you today. It is dividing by decimals. Now, we do have 2 videos out there at the moment. I hope you've seen them, which are showing you all about long division. So it's exactly the same principle when you're dividing by decimals, as I will show you. So let's just take a number at random. We're saying, what is 2.3 what is 'Unbelievable.